Most people would never be willing to believe what the other side is capable of. Everybody lives, for the most part, under the false impression that everybody in the world is a lot like them, when the reality of it is, nothing could be further from the truth. I'll tell you about these people. It's something you may or may not know. They don't live by the same rules that we do. As a matter of fact, quite the contrary. Anybody who would conduct themselves on a daily basis the way that they do, doesn't give a rat's ass about morality, doesn't give a two shits about justice. And the truth is something to be shit on a daily basis. Most of you out there live by the philosophy, if you're doing wrong and get caught, you raise your hand and say, yeah, that's right, that's enough. I did it. What are the consequences? And are willing to accept them. That's not the way these people roll. You could try and convict them on an overmounting amount of evidence or an overwhelming amount of evidence, and they would still insist upon their innocence all the way to the gallows, because they have no accountability, because they're cowards with absolutely no honor. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, they're not like the rest of us, and they don't give a rat's ass about your version or your view of justice. There's a clinical term for people like that, and I'll be damned if it doesn't escape me at the moment. Sociopath. Someone who's capable of saying the right things, even doing the right things in a public manner, yet have psychopathic tendencies behind the scenes, but have just enough social skills to be able to hide it from everybody else. And make no mistake about it, just like I said before, they don't see the world like you and I. And justice and fair play is the last thing on their minds. So let me run it down one more time, the simplest way that I can. Not unlike a spoiled child who's losing a game of checkers. Instead of losing gracefully and accepting their defeat, they turn over the checkerboard and have the pieces go scattered all about the room, ruining it for the next person in line who wants to play the game. Also, they don't have to admit defeat, because in their own minds and in their own arrogance, they can't admit defeat. They're too immature, too caught up in their own delusions of grandeur to ever do so. What we have here are a group of people with no honor, with no regard for the people around them in a situation where they have to admit defeat or are defeated. And it should be becoming pretty damn obvious to anybody who's been paying attention that that's why we're all staying at home these days. Because instead of packing up their game and moving on, they decided to go for broke and don't give a shit how many people's lives it affects, how many people end up dead, and how many people lose everything because of their arrogance. Oh no, ladies and gentlemen, they're not like me and you. Not even close. They have no sense of fair play. And they will cheat the game every time, as they have done in the past and will do in the future, should they ever be allowed to regain power.